10,055.
You're live.
All right, we are live Friday, July 31st, 9:02 a.m. And on the screen with us is Paige from Baker Tilly doing a virtual meet with us to go over revenue and income, debts, and whatever other questions we have for our financial advisors. Good morning, everyone. And if anybody has anything to talk about, if not, we'll let Paige get us going.
Good morning.
So, this is what you have in front of you. I think it's gonna be a little bit different than what I present because I did, make some updates with some information I received from the auditor's office, but it should be pretty similar. But I'm gonna share with you the current information that I have. So I'm gonna put this up on the screen, and I did email it to you, JR, but you probably
We have a page.
looked at your email yet. It was just recently.
Yeah, I just saw it.
So first of all, what I really want you to focus on is the receipts for 2027. This has a lot of information on this page, but column B is where I really want to focus because as you've heard me say before, you know, if you want a balanced budget, you don't want to eat into your cash reserves, you really need to focus on balancing your budget with your estimated annual receipts, and that would be in column B. But before I get to that in detail, I'm just gonna go through all of these columns, even though I think column B is the most important column on this paper. So with the general fund, we're estimating a beginning cash balance in 2027 of about 4.8 million. So that would be what you're gonna end with in 2026, but I wanna add some caveats here. This is based on additional appropriations that we know to date through 6/30, well, actually through the end of July. So if you have any other additional appropriations, that's obviously going to lower that cash balance. That cash balance also includes a distribution from the judgment bond fund. I believe that was over $1.2 million. Actually, this fund, Lit Public Safety, and Lit Special Purpose all received a distribution from that judgment bond fund. So I think that ending cash for 2026 is probably higher than what you were anticipating, but it's because of a few things. That, you've got a special distribution of local income tax. Your budget is actually lower than the anticipated receipts that you're expected to bring in for 2026. So all of that is good. And I do think that unless there's some big appropriations that we're not aware of that will happen from now to the end of the year, I think that is a strong ending cash balance for the general fund.
So Paige,
Again, yes, go ahead.
I don't know if it'll happen before the end of fiscal 26 year or if it'll be early 27, but the building we're setting in where we're doing meetings now, we do have works at the RFP process and plans to enter into a contract for a large payment out for renovations of this building. So that will probably be somewhere in the $300,000 to $500,000 range for this particular building.
And that's going to come out of the general fund?
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. You definitely can cover it out of general. And I'll make a note of that to include that additional appropriation. I'll probably just make it 500,000 just to be on the safe side. So that's the beginning cash. The receipts are 2.4 million right now for your general fund. This is for 2027. This is what I want you to focus on as far as matching your budget with your receipts. What this doesn't have yet is the estimated local income tax for 2027. The DLGF should be providing that information within the next couple of days. And what we see with these receipts is it's kind of continuous changing of these as we get additional information from the state. But what we built into the 10.4 million is a 4% increase in local income tax revenue from the previous year, from 2026. How did we get that? We looked at your historical growth over the last 5 years, and you have consistently had some pretty good growth. It's averaged 4% over that time period. So I feel comfortable adding the 4% growth on your local income tax. However, we are waiting for those estimates from DLGF, which we should get maybe in the next week or so, and we'll update these accordingly. So, these are kind of fluid as we get additional information from the state. But right now, 10.4 million is the number for the general fund. We did put in your budgets that have been entered into Gateway, and those total right now at 14.2 million. However, I do think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I think that there's some sheriff and jail items that might be budgeted in a couple different places. I think you typically do that.
Yeah, they are. He puts all of his at both lits and the general for us to decide.
And the general.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think it could be inflated, but if it's not, we certainly wouldn't want you to spend 14.2 million. And we, again, try to stay to that $10.4 million mark. I know you're just kind of starting this process out. But if it were 14.2, you would see that in column E, you would spend down your cash by 3.8 million, which would only leave you a 7.2% cash reserve. I know you're not going to do that. I'm just pointing this out that that's how this schedule reads, is that, you overspend your receipts. It doesn't mean you can't fund the budget. It means you're going to spend down your cash reserves. Column D is the estimated ending cash balance for 2027. So we really like to focus on keeping that to where you have at least minimum 15% cash reserve. Now you should end 2026 with almost, I think, a 50% cash reserve, which is really good. I know you're going to use some of that cash for some building improvements, but all that said is really, we want you to stay above 15%, ideally around 25%. I'm just going to check here real quick to see what you ended 2025. I know you can't see it on the screen, but I just want to, because I think it was pretty decent. Let me see. The end of 25, you had cash reserves of about 28%. So good, that's where we want to see you at 28%. Now, if you remember, but at the end of 2023, your ending cash was negative. It was negative 473,000. You improved it in 2024 to 25%, then again in 2025 to 28%. And then in 26, you're going to end roughly around 50%, depending on how much of those cash reserves that you spend.
Paige.
So that's where,
Paige.
Yes.
The reason that there was a negative number at the beginning of 24 was because of our software system. We've changed that. That changed.
Okay.
If you go look about January 6th when everything hit, it will not be that number.
Okay. So again, if we go back to 2025, you're in the 28% range. So that's good. You want to be in that range. So projecting forward, keeping those recurring costs to the estimated annual receipts, that's how you're going to keep those strong reserves going. Any questions on the general fund before I move forward from that?
I don't think so. The only other expense for you guys to know is when the renovation's done in this particular building, the plan is to move people from the courthouse to this building to get it set up, and then we will begin another renovation project at the courthouse, moving offices inside of there. I think that's estimated to be somewhere around $1 million.
Well, and also about the wages. If we increase wages, you're going to see some of this go down.
Yeah, and we're waiting on a wage study from Wagner Irwin Sheely that we're hoping to get it and see where we fall, because that hasn't been done and looked at for about 20 years. So we spent some money on them to do a study. We should get that mid next month, maybe in a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have it. And we're hoping to change some salaries and bring some people up to where they should be and start leveling the playing field a little bit with some of our employees.
And I think that may be doable, because when I look at your 2026 budget, looks like you're gonna spend this year about 9.2 million in the general, but now I'm saying that you've got potentially 10.4 to spend for 27. So I do see where it may be possible to increase the overall expenses, depending on what the other expenses are.
Sure.
I mean, we've got the preliminary budget in here now, it looks really high, but I think there's some overlap there. Okay, so moving on to lit special purpose, and again, this may look different than what you have in front of you.
I printed the new
because
one out.
I'm sorry.
I printed the new one out, so we're looking at the same one you have.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, okay. And I apologize for the last minute.
No worries.
But anyway, with special purpose, we have an estimating beginning fund balance in 2027 of about 2.1 million. And part of that does include that judgment bond transfer. Receipts is primarily the local income tax, and we're estimating a 4% increase. Again, we will update as soon as we get the numbers from DLGF, but in receipts, we're estimating at 1.4 million. Right now, you've got a budget of 3.2 million in that fund for 2027, which would, burn down about 1.8 million of reserves. You could fund that budget, but I mean, ideally, that's not where we want you to be. I want you to remember that you can use cash reserves for one-time items such as capital. I haven't looked at the detail of your budget yet, but capital expenditures, yes, you can pay those capital expenditures with the cash reserves. But the recurring cost is what we are saying to match with estimated annual receipts. Cumulative bridge, this is one where we do see a lot of capital typically come out of cumulative bridge, but we're estimating a beginning fund balance in 2027 of 1.5 million, receipts of about 594,000, that's primarily property tax revenue. Disbursements right now are 430,000, so it's budgeted under receipts as it is now, so back to the cash reserves. But I know this is a fund, and I see this in almost every county where, you'll build up for a period of time and then there might be a bridge project. So it doesn't surprise me that you might not be spending everything that you're bringing in, and this fund just it's building up. And you should have at the end, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, on that one, we're actually talking, and I was just gonna get your opinion, about taking maybe a portion of that cash reserve and investing it until we have another bridge project.
Absolutely. Yes, good idea. Yeah, you can invest it, you can do, shorter term CDs so you can get to it when you need it. But yes, that's really a great option for any cash reserves that you have that you're not going to spend for a while. Yep. And right now, interest earnings are really pretty good. You're getting in your general fund almost $800,000 a year in interest earnings, or that's what it's projected to be. So right now, that's a good bet. Hume Capital Development is the next fund. You should end the year of 2026 with about 222,000. Receipts are, again, primarily property tax, and we're estimating about 185,000. Right now, your disbursements are well above that, and even with the cash that you have on hand, you would not be able to fund a budget of 609,000. So just keep that in mind that you only have so much in that fund. Now, if you don't spend all of your budget for 2026, there may be some left over there, but
Hey,
right now
that's another one that's double budgeted. Andrew, our
Okay.
IT guy, puts all of his budget in general and Hume Cap Development just so we can decide how to fund him. So that's one that we'll have to maybe look at once we narrow down budgets to see. But I don't think the actual request is 600,000 on that.
Okay, yeah, I remember that you all
Give me a
double
quick,
budget in areas and then decide at the end where you want to put it.
this is one of them questions I ought to know, but I don't. Exactly what is Cuban Capital Development?
It comes off of property tax. And actually, Paige, the question is, and you can explain it probably way better than I can, but the question is, what is cumulative capital development?
Mhm. What it can be used for, is that really the question?
What is it?
Where does it derive from, or
And what can
Okay.
you use with it, yeah.
Yeah. So human capital development is a fund, a statutory fund that nearly all counties have. And it's what we call a rate-driven fund. So you have a maximum tax rate on that fund, and it really is just property tax is the primary funding source from that fund. And it can be used for nearly any capital improvement or replacement you can think of. And it's a really good fund because it's outside the maximum property tax limitation. So if you didn't have this fund, you'd be leaving on the table about $200,000 of revenue that you would otherwise collect. So this is a fund that we highly recommend that you have, and you do have it. And it can be used for just about any capital item that you can think of.
So that could be used for the courthouse here when we're doing our redevelopment.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely, yes.
primarily
Yeah,
that, that's why we always used Andrew, because he's buying new computers or he's paying for
Yeah.
IT type upgrades. And I think that was, he's been in that since I've been on the council. And that's why the reason was, because I asked that question early on, and it's because it's above property tax, but it's for building out things like IT or capital projects, or, like the judge yesterday said she's going to need to buy new furniture you can do things like that out of.
But this isn't stuff we use for their, when they make their budgets out, is that part of it?
Andrew does, and the election board.
I usually think when we
uses
do
some.
budgets of the general fund. But some of this can go into their budgets too.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Thanks, Paige. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I want to also mention something about that human capital development fund, is that the maximum statutory rate is 0.0333. You all are at 0.0182. So if you ever wanted to, you could go up to the maximum rate and generate not quite double what you have, but another probably $100 and some thousand. And again, it's outside the maximum levy, but it is a tax rate increase. So, but you're only looking at let me see. A tax rate increase of like 1.5 cents. So if you ever decide you might want to do that, we can help you through that process. You just need to do it by May 31st of a given year. And you would get additional monies if you needed that. So that's just something, in the longer term, if you thought you might want to do that, we can help you with that. The next one is the ambulance fund. And this one, we have an estimated ending cash balance of $177,000. That's what you would begin 2027. I think here, we're kind of perplexed about the receipts in this fund because they appear to be going down. For the last couple of years, the receipts were trending up. In fact, let me look at something. I think it was 2.5 million in ambulance receipts. In 2024, it was nearly 2.6 million. Then in 2025, it went down to 2.4 million. Now, if I annualize the receipts through June 30th, it's coming out to be about 2.1. I find that surprising because it was trending up. So we're taking the conservative approach, and we're gonna say here that they stay at 2.1 million for 2027. But if the department head, has information that says otherwise, obviously we'll incorporate that into this. But I just found that kind of interesting because it has been on an upward trend.
He did say there were some changes with the local hospital on transfers, and they had some issues with billing when he was in talking about budget. So it may have trended down a little, but I'll touch base with him and make sure our numbers are on point for it.
He might be back too.
Yeah, he always seems to have a lot of information on his receipts, so he knows better than we do. So yeah, if we need to make some changes, we'll do that. So the disbursements for that fund right now are almost 3.5 million. So that's that's obviously way over. So I think he is gonna have to provide some input on if he's thinking there's gonna be additional receipts or how he's gonna balance this budget.
Okay.
The health fund, we have an estimated beginning cash for 2027 of 49,000. The receipts right now are estimating at 390,000. The disbursements are a little over that, 583,000. I don't know what the situation is with this one, but here's what I'm seeing all over from the multitude of counties I work with is that, remember that Health First Indiana funding?
Oh,
It came in really strong
Yeah.
and then it got drastically cut. And so what some county departments have done, what they've done is they've moved some of those Health First Indiana costs into their regular health fund. But the problem with that is that if the county wants to continue to fund those items that were funded by the grant money, you're gonna have to shift property tax over to this fund. So that'll be a decision of the county. I don't know if that's what's happening here because I haven't looked at the line item detail of why this budget is 583,000, but it is something that, needs to be considered. I don't know if that's what's happening, but.
Well, and I know Brittany with our health department has been trying to supplement that Health First Indiana cut for her with the old COVID money that was kind of accumulated in some funds, some old grant money she had, and just clearing out some of those funds to carry her through in hopes that the state will realize the damage they did there by giving that and then cutting it away and refund some of it.
Yeah, it's a tough spot because they gave a whole bunch of money out and then they just cut it away. And in fact, we know it's gonna continue through 2027, but 2028 is up in the air right now. The legislature is gonna have to approve that Health First Indiana money beyond that if they so choose.
And she's saying that
So here,
they're hearing,
oh, go ahead.
she's saying they're hearing good things that
Okay.
maybe possibly they're going to redo some of that Health First Indiana money and bring it probably not back to what it was, but maybe somewhere in the middle. So I'm hoping
Okay,
2028 will look a little bit better.
okay. Well, that's good if that happens. So I guess for the council, what you all should know is that you are able to shift property tax only during the budget season, like to the health fund if you wanted to provide more funding there. I think you're probably gonna need it in the general fund, but that's gonna be up to you. So I guess maybe I should just as a reminder, but you'll see little stars on next to funds like general, Hume Bridge, health, reassessment, and cemetery. So you are able to shift property tax. I'd probably stay away from Hume Bridge because it is a rate-driven fund, but general, health, reassessment, and cemetery. You've got levies on those funds, and so during budget time, you can kind of look. If you don't need as much levy in general, for instance, you can shift it to other funds. It's not the state making that decision for you. It's what you put in the budget. So just so you know that you do have a little bit of flexibility there. Most counties need everything that they can get in the general fund, so I don't know if that's really an option for you. But I just want you to know that you do have that flexibility only during budget time, because once that budget order is set, you can't move the property tax around. The next fund is local road and street. We anticipate you'll begin 2027 with about 348,000. We know that there's a gas tax holiday right now. There has been some talk that the gas tax holiday will be lifted as early as next week. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But what you need to know is that yes, you did receive less gas tax distributions in both your MPH and local road and street funds in June and July. You received a reimbursement from the state just recently. I think it was either the beginning of this week or last week. and that was to help you for that gas tax holiday. You got kind of refunded from the state, which was good. So you may end up being whole by the end of this year. Depends on how many more months this gas tax holiday is gonna last. If it does come to a conclusion next week, I think that it's gonna be fine. So I guess, there was a lot of panic at first when we heard about the gas tax holiday that, oh my gosh, we're gonna lose all this money in MPH and Local Road Street. Well, right now, it's not looking too bad, especially since the state, gave out, reimbursements to the county. So just to let you know that, we think the receipts for 2027 are gonna go back to normal, so that'll be about 450,000. Right now, your budget is 484,000, which I don't see any concerns with that. Yes, you'll burn down a little bit of your cash reserves, about 34,000, but you'll still end with over 300,000 in cash reserves, which is 65%. So I see no issues with the way that budget is prepared right now. It's not necessarily balanced, but it's close enough to balance. And with Local Road Street, you're looking at expenditures like, sand and road materials, and those aren't necessarily recurring, meaning if you had to cut those, you could if you had to. So I think that budget was good.
Paige, another thing to take into consideration on the current budgets that we look at is all of the payroll has been moved up 10% for advertising. I don't foresee that we will go 10% raises on payroll. I think there will be some, but I can't imagine that we could obviously fund a full 10%. So all of them will come down some, which is a huge expense when you look at it cumulatively.
Yeah, understand. Lit public safety, you should end the year with about 1.768 million. And again, remember that includes that one-time transfer from the judgment bond fund. The receipts were estimating 2.8 million, and that does include the 4% estimated growth that we put on the local income tax, but we will adjust that as needed. Disbursements right now, almost $6 million. Again, I think there's some overlap there. I'm sure that you'll get that straightened out towards the end of the budget process. Highway, we just included restricted in this number because that's how the state looks at it, those two combined. So those two combined, we should end the year with 468,000. Receipts of about 2 million. Again, we do anticipate it'll go back to normal in 2027. Disbursements right now, 2.5 million if you look at both the restricted and the unrestricted. So that's obviously, that can't be funded. So we'll need some sort of an adjustment there with that budget. Rainy day, we wouldn't suggest that you budget that. I don't think you typically do, but just for your information, you've got about $1.6 million in rainy day. Reassessment, you should end 2026 with 241,000. Your receipts we're estimating right now about 263,000. The budgeted disbursements are 355,000 right now. Yes, you can fund that, but it will utilize about $92,000 of cash reserves. Riverboat, you don't have a whole lot in there, but you should end the year with about $2,600. Your receipts are pretty constant. Those don't change a whole lot. So we are estimating about 92,000. Disbursements right now, 90,000. So that's a pretty much balanced budget. Statewide 911, we're estimating that you'll end 2026 with about 312,000. Receipts about 367,000. We're seeing these receipts decline a little bit from year to year, and my understanding it's because those track phones, those burner phones don't pay the 911 taxes, and for whatever reason, people are buying more and more of those. So there's been talk of some legislative changes so that there is a tax on those burner and track phones, so that would help if there ever is, but You're not like, I mean, you're like all the other counties that are within the state. We're seeing that revenue kind of is on a little bit of a downward trend. And so there might be some point in the future where you need to shift some of these 911 costs over to the general fund. And that's what some counties have had to do. But right now, we're estimating $367,000 in receipts. Disbursements over your budget's at $452,000. So yes, that can be funded, but you'd be utilizing about $85,000 of cash reserves to fund that budget. And then the cemetery is the last fund. You should start the year 2027 with about $15,000. Very little in receipts, $8,200, and your budget right now is below that at $6,500, so that's really not an issue. So I know that this is going to be rapidly changing. We will continuously update these receipts as we get additional information and any additional appropriations that come through. And then as you all continue to work on your budget, we can just plug it into this, and then you can see, you know, a status report of where you are with your budget.
Thank you for that, and I will, if you send out or you get another one or update it, will you just copy me in an email of it and I'll disperse it to everybody?
Absolutely.
One thing
I sure will.
One thing that's in the works, probably not for the 27 year, or the 26, I'm sorry, but going into 27 is we're talking about partnering with the city of Austin, the city of Scottsburg on the 911 center and bringing back the 911 board that used to exist. So I think if they start paying into that, which they get to use the services of, it would help offset that, you know, negative $85,000 we're having to spend out for it.
Yes, yep.
But
And that is something that counties are doing too. Also, is just what you're suggesting, is trying to get the municipalities to contribute to the dispatch. I mean, obviously, they're utilizing it, so I think that's a great idea.
anybody have any other questions? Kind of what
Sounds
we,
like we're in a better place than we were in 23.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot better.
definitely better.
Paige, I think my only concerns looking at this is I'm not really concerned about the general. I don't think that much will come out just because of the sheriff's, but the sheriff's budget does come out 70. I did some calculation I couldn't use the 25 numbers, but I did the 24 numbers. It's budgeted 3.4 and he ended the year with 5.7 million with additional appropriations, total budget. Some of it came from ARP money for capital, which was fine, but about 75% of what we're paying for the sheriff comes out of those lit. So I think those numbers will be pretty close. So even with the bond money going in, it looks like it's still going to be pretty low. Are we at max levy for those? I know nobody wants to increase taxes, but if we continue, we might have to shift, I guess, some of the sheriff's expenses to the general.
Yeah, it's possible, and what makes it even more concerning, Heather, is the new local income tax structure, and I know it's been delayed, but I mean, it's so up in the air, and you all are very much dependent on these local income tax revenues. So yeah, I agree that that's a concern. We need to monitor it. You, as a council, you could change the rates. I'd have to look to see if you're at the max. You're not at the max on the lit public safety, so you could change the rate, but it only be for 2 years. You could do it for 27, 28, which would lead into 29. But then with the new tax structure coming on, how is that going to change everything? It could change it a lot, because as we go into 2027 legislative session, we anticipate major changes to the local income tax structure that they just adopted, you know, in the last 2 years. So, yep, I concur with those concerns. You're heavily reliant on it, and if that falls apart, or if the economy takes a tank, then yes, you will have to move those over to the general fund, and then your healthy general fund is going to start, you know, going down in cash reserves. So
Well, I think some clarity.
concern.
I think we'll get some more clarity as soon as we start the MUS process. That's been incredibly helpful
Yes.
in other counties. So I think it'll let them know, some things, the SEA one, everybody, the sky is falling, and sitting through those MUS meetings, I don't think for counties in general, the sky is going to be falling if you can keep within your healthy budget funds. So I look forward to them starting that process. Thank you, Paige.
Great. All right, thank you.
Anybody else got anything?
Any other?
Clear as mud.
All right, well, I appreciate it. I think that at least gets us started on some
Yeah.
revenue ideas, and we'll work through the rest of the budget hearings, and then the plan is to start going like we usually do, one by one, and trying to see what is need versus want and get narrowed down. And then we're anxiously awaiting the salary study to get that figured out, and I think we'll see where we need to be, and hopefully with some of the moves we've made in the years past, put us in the position to where we can fix it and sustain it moving on. Because not only, paying somebody, but like you guys have said before, that changes the rungs on the ladder pretty significantly. So we want to make sure that it's sustainable for years to come.
Yes, absolutely.
But I appreciate your time and work, and I think if nobody else has anything, we'll get back with you as the budget moves along, I'm sure.
Okay,
Thank
sounds
you.
good, and we'll continually update these numbers as we get new information.
Thanks, Paige.
Thanks,
Thank
Paige.
you.
All right, thank you.
Give me an update on what I've got. President.
Who's this Ian Baker?
That's community correction.
We got
It's all right.
a little bit, don't we? I moved Missy Baker to 1:30 so that we would have time to make sure we did pay.
All right, I was asked to look at a couple things, so I want to start with the I was asked about creating an area plan commission perpetuation fund for the permit fees, and equipment fees to go into. And so I started digging in a little bit, and it sort of led me down a rabbit hole. So there's actually a statute that says you must have a fund, maintain a special fund dedicated solely to the fees to go into, and it can only be used to reimburse costs actually incurred by the planning commission. So I was a little concerned we don't have that. It's a must. And asking the questions, and I was on Google, it was a little hard to hear. It's a little hard to hear on Google Meet, but if I'm listening to the YouTube. So yesterday I was having to go back and forth between the two. But if I understood correctly, that's going into the general fund now. And that really concerned me because the statute says money in the fund may not at any time revert to the general fund. So those have been going into the general fund evidently in contravention of the statute. So we definitely need to make sure, but this is where it sent me down a rabbit hole, because I went into Gateway to try to figure out what funds we had. Did we have this area plan commission fee fund? And I found a document I don't think any of us have been provided in 3.5 years I've been the council attorney, and it's the annual financial report, which was very helpful. It was a little late this year, about 87 days late in filing, but it was available about 24 hours after that last joint meeting we had where Mr. Temple presented. But in the end, so I forwarded the annual financial report to you guys this morning. So you guys had it. It really breaks down. I was a little confused because in that meeting we heard we had 300,000, but 24 hours later this was filed, and it definitely shows we have we're expected to have 2-something million at the end of
2.7. And I sent out an email,
25.
Heather.
Yeah.
I sent out an email within 24 hours and said I had misspoke at that meeting.
Oh, okay. I was all in that email?
I'm not sure the council was.
I was not on that email. In any event, I forwarded this to you this morning as a plethora of information. Going back to the area plan commission fees, I do not see a fund that is created for that, and it needs to be. The question is going to be, is there already a number that the SBOA has or the DLGF has? Because if not, the next step, I think there should be, since it's statutory, and I can give you the statute, I'll forward all that to you before I leave on vacation. If there is not, and the DLGF and SBOA do not already have a fund number and stuff they want us to use, it would become a home rule fund that we would have to have the commissioners create. So Jennifer, I'm gonna lean on you to probably follow through with that, and I'll give you the statute, but it was very clear looking at the statute that we should have one and this should not be going in the general fund.
Just for the fees, correct, what you're saying?
Yes,
For
yes,
what they
yes.
Collect like
Which
permits.
she has record of what it is, so my suggestion is, once that fund is found, whatever number and all that set up, we do, advertisement and just, or claim adjustment or whatever, and we remove it from the general and we put it in that fund. Because what she turned in, which I can make you guys a copy of this when I get to a copy machine, but the first, second, and third quarter of 26, they've already taken in $28,097.50. So if you stay on track with that, you're talking roughly $50,000 a year they're bringing in fees that would help offset, a pay of some sort in their office.
Yeah, I think,
Part-time help like she's asking for.
Right.
yeah, I think that's gonna be important. So Jennifer, I'll leave that part
Okay,
with
get
you.
that, I'll get that done.
Yeah, I was asked about seasonal employees, and we just last night got the handbook, which I also thought was helpful because I've never seen the handbook. So if you look in the handbook, it talks about seasonal employee. And John, where I have a concern is that it says that seasonal or temporary employees, I think if they are employed, and Jennifer, you can correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not an HR person at all, and it's 102 pages, it was late last night, I was trying to review it. But it said something about if they're employed for more than 120 days, and there has to be a 6-month gap before they can be reemployed. So if we're doing, we might want to make them contractors instead of employees. I don't know how that does. So that might be something to think about, just so they don't fall into that. So,
That'd be something the commissioners have to do.
yes, because you would have to contract with them. I mean, we'd still have to appropriate the funds out of cemetery, but after Paige's thing, I'm very encouraged by the cemetery. You don't bring in much, but we're going under budget every year. So I think that that's really good.
And if you change to contract services,
Then we wouldn't have to worry about the benefits
Right.
and all, if they're
I
covered,
don't think
because
you need
it's
to
sort
go
of
through the
silent on
same
that.
hiring process then either. You just have a
Yeah.
contract for whoever and.
And if they don't show up, we contract somebody else.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that makes sense for you or not, but that's sort of what I found.
So
Um,
they're basically, they're working from like late April, early May to
Made
October. So
Yeah.
then there's not 6 months in between if they start
Right.
back. So that's what you're saying, correct?
yeah, or we can ask the commissioners to change the handbook too, but I assume because the handbook on every page says Sheila Wagner did those, and they're HR attorneys, so there's probably a reason for that, like a federal wage an hour or something. But that concerned me after listening to you talk about the cemetery board and just, those employees. So it might be better to do contract with them so they don't fall into that, hey, we can't hire you for 6 more months, gap. Which brings me to the longevity and the pay scale. So you can have people in the same category, but within those category are different levels. And I don't have those levels. So the handbook talks about the different categories that the commissioners have set up and adopted. Jennifer's waiting to get,
I just
The-
got
the
an
guide.
second question is, what is the FERS guide?
it's
So I will
on
go
whatever
back and
page I
talk
told you of that.
Mhm.
I'm trying to, it's
So
hard.
I'll go back and talk to her, but that was my,
Yeah, because it says in there that the pay would be pursuant to the FERS guide, and that's not attached. So we're trying to figure that out. So even though, someone might be an employee that's professional and technical, there are several levels, and those can vary based on experience, ability, job descriptions. So I don't really have an answer to if these people all have to be paid the same, because it's going to depend on these categories, as well as different steps and stuff. I don't know if you're familiar with the federal government and their GS system, right? So like my husband's a GS 13, but he's at step 7, and somebody else might be at step 8, depending on longevity. So I expect to see something like that. But I will say I took several calls over the last couple of days from just elected officials and I think JR has too, about concerns with consistency. I've heard the longevity pay. Some people, and it's causing, frankly, this isn't really a legal issue, but just talking to the elected officials that have called me, it's causing some morale issues in government because people are frustrated that some people are allowed to stack their longevity. Well, reading the handbook, it says continuous years of employment. So, we need to really identify in the longevity, is this continuous employment? I don't know how you guys would know this, or I would know
I
that.
think that's a policy they set and don't always stick to.
Well, they need to stick to the handbook because that's how lawsuits
I
happen,
don't
right?
think
You know what I'm
they-
saying?
I don't think they have.
Yeah. Well, we need to probably have some kind of audit of employees.
So just like the certification, we don't know what their certification is.
Correct.
Plus, like I said, we don't even know what the people are when they say jury 1, 2, 3. We don't know who they even are. So how can we do the certifications?
Right. And that really probably, Jennifer, would have to come from your office because you have the HR records.
Yeah.
But I think the concern for this body is, you guys are always concerned with morale. We need to make sure that those pay rates are consistent. If they should be paying the same, if someone's not being paid the same in the same category, we need to be able to give them an explanation. And then we need to make sure as far as longevity, and we had the issue with PTO time. PTO time does not say continuous years of service. So we have some people that were here in a role for 3 years, they left for 6 months or a year, and they come back. Well, since it doesn't say continuous years, you could probably stack on those previous years, but longevity definitely needs to. I think again, not a legal issue, but you guys, I've been with you guys long enough that we've had several discussions about, yes, you want to pay people the right rate. You want to pay people well. We want to keep morale because you lose people, you're going to lose good people over 50 cents an hour. So I really think that's important. And that was my takeaway with talking to these public and elected officials and looking at the things I've looked at is that there has to be some consistency. And if we don't have consistency between the rates, the longevity, the PTO, we need to be able to, as a county, not as a council, because I don't know that that's really up to you guys, but need to be able to provide them an explanation as to why there's not some consistency, or else we're going to start really losing good people that have been at their job a long time and stuck with this county through the thin times. And you heard Paige say, I was really encouraged. We evidently are in a very much better financial position than we were when I became your guys' attorney. So I was very encouraged by this, and I think that we could probably do a little bit more this year, but we definitely need to audit the HR files and make sure everybody's getting paid what they're supposed to, the longevity's supposed to be, and that they're getting their PTO hours.
Jennifer, just a quick Google search, and I don't know how this relates to us. It says, because I have no idea what an FERS guide is either, but I Googled what is a FERS guide for salaries, and it says, explains how the federal employees retirement system calculates your future pension using your basic pay.
That's not
I
what we're
wonder-
talking about.
But I wonder if that's something through PERF, like the same kind of thing.
I'm not certain.
I don't know. When I came up with the same thing, because my husband obviously is a federal employee, so I know what FERS is.
Well, we
getting
don't
ready
have
to
anything to
retire,
do with federal.
but- No.
I mean, it's
No.
State government, and so I don't know. I have no idea what a FERS. I seen that late last night too, and I was like,
Yeah.
first I've heard of that as well.
Yeah.
And we may end up, after we get this salary study, having to employ Wagner when Sheila to help navigate us through longevity issues and changing a handbook. But I think we need to have a joint session with commissioners and say, if we spend this money and we go through this, are we truly as a county going to utilize the handbook? Because what's the purpose of spending the money if we're not? And we're not gonna keep up with the, policies and procedures that are in it.
I would encourage all of you to deep dive into that handbook because there were some very interesting policies that I thought,
And I'm gonna guess.
those aren't being followed.
That probably needs to be looked at yearly, probably not us, but the commissioners. It is every year.
No, it needs to be.
Yeah, and then change appropriately.
The way it's set up now, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but if there's a change to the county handbook, both bodies have to vote on it.
I believe so.
And you have to either pass it unanimously or it has to go through 3 readings. And you can do 1 and 2 at one time, but I think the way I understand it, in order to make a change to that, both the commissioners and the council have to either vote on it unanimously twice, or it has to go 3 separate readings.
Don't we have like a committee for that too?
We do, and it's my notice, or to my knowledge, I've been on it and I've never met.
Well, and only that, that's why I was kind of leading to that, is I don't remember, maybe I have, maybe, I don't remember even sitting down even discussing these things.
Right.
over quite a period of time.
And it's been a long time, I think, since it's been, some are probably out.
The last thing we did was the emergency, it was when we had a big snow or something, we had an emergency
For
policy.
EMA, I think, to be able to.
No, emergency closing
Close.
policy.
Yeah, there you go, there you go. I think that's the only thing in my 3.5 years that I
That's when we
remember.
did it, Yeah.
I've never even seen the handbook till last night, the full handbook.
But I know there's a lot of things in government that need work, but that definitely does. And I think that gives structure to employees. Because it shouldn't be that I work for one office and you work for another and we follow an absolute different set of rules. So somehow, some way, we need to work on that.
It would probably be helpful to be able to, I don't know how many county employees or if it's even possible, but it'd be helpful to try to get them aligned before the end of the year so the salary ordinance is correct for
There will be
everybody.
a lot of
And-
work need to be done on the salary ordinance, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, and we need to make sure, because we advertise, we might have to do additional appropriations in 27 to truly get everybody up to date. But I think I would like this body to go into 2027 knowing that everybody's being paid appropriately. It's probably gonna be even more complicated because we'll have raises built in and stuff, but I think it started off on a good foot, at least with the county employees, that they're getting paid appropriately.
Do we bite it off in a small chunk and maybe, let's say, these ones that were brought up, not just because they were brought up, but the COMOT, whoever's in that classification,
We can do
take a
that.
look at them. Then we move on to another one. And it may take a little bit of time, but
Within the courthouse, your COMOT, I believe, is the most
yeah,
people that you have.
common use.
Yeah, it's the biggest group.
You guys want to start looking at maybe that job description, and then as soon as we get the salary study, we focus on that. I just think if you're like, there's 200 and something employees, let's look at all of them. That's not realistic. I think we're gonna have to probably break it down.
Can we have that by the 7th, so we can do that next Friday, the following Friday?
I don't know, would it take that?
What do you need the job description sent to you for each department?
Me,
What do you need?
I need that first guy that's
I guess,
because it talks about here are the categories, and then when you go into the pay, I think I gave you the page. It was because it's
Right,
so
you
long.
said, but I don't know. I'm not familiar with it. I couldn't find it in my computer.
Yeah,
It wasn't in the paper. Like I said, I contacted Lori at Wagner, Urban and Shealy, and she's
So
asking.
it says the
question.
council. Oh, here we go. The county has described and evaluated all of its positions according to the. Oh, it's not first. It's FES guide charts as their relative degree of difficulty and responsibility, and group them into classifications based on their similarities. Pay schedules have been developed and adapted for each job category for full and part-time positions.
Okay.
So I don't know what the FES guide chart is, but it seems like the categories exist and then you have each job description.
Mhm.
And if they're like in similarity, they should be, but that guide should be telling us which ones should be getting paid the same and not.
So that
Does
is-
that make sense?
Is the certification, is it just because of their title, or is it because of the education they went extra? What is it?
Certification of
Yeah.
Hang on just a second.
FES
FES guide
Yeah.
chart.
factory evaluation system is what it says
Okay.
online. I don't know.
So, I mean. a
It says
department-
we've described and evaluated all of our positions.
So a department head can say, all my people are certified, and it would have to take. that
As a
on board.
bookkeeper one, so yeah.
So there should gotta be a guideline to tell you, that's what's really confusing, you know?
Yes. There should be something to tell us, it sounds like,
Yeah, it should. be.
about the pay scale.
So is it a classification or a certain?
Yes.
That book does have
What did
It'll-
Michelle
a
start?
category, but not,
What did this Michelle's issue start with? A classification or a category?
I have no idea. She just asked for the salary ordinance. So I'm not sure. We'll have to go back and ask Michelle on that one.
Okay.
COMOT,
Which is the computer office machine operation technician.
yes.
Yeah,
And then we have LTC, Labor Trades and Crafts. We have SO, which is Special Operations. The law, hang on just a
but what I'm asking is if a person, is their title for that person? Is they, that's what's confusing, because,
Oh,
yeah. Because
Like
if you got 5 people working for you, is each one of them got a classification?
actually, they do. The chief deputy is the special operation because they are excluded, which means,
That's what we need. We need to be able to have that,
I was gonna say,
Yeah.
that's that one.
if everybody's wanting equal pay.
If you look at, The rest of them in my office would be the COMOT.
Well, I mean, if you look at the categories, it looks like these are there's 5 categories, and then each category, what I'm missing, these are the 5 categories, but what I'm missing is under those categories, like your COMOT, you might have clerk 1, which is a certain level, specialty or whatever. Clerk 2, which is a different level of specialty and seniority. So really to know if people are being paid like to like, we need to not just know the category, but the levels under each, and title under each. And I didn't see that in looking at, I just briefly looked at those.
That's it, and that's what I was gonna say, they're all over the place, because we do have, what they call second deputies that they were talking about. They had, and this one just says tax specialist, settlement director, auditor as assigned. It's a COMOT, but it doesn't really tell you the level.
It doesn't tell you well, I mean, it should tell you and we might need to get some direction for Wagner.
That's what I'm thinking. I think we need to go back and
Because
ask on those.
if you can have 2 bookkeepers,
And
right?
it's possible that when we get the new classifications, it'll tell us when we get this on the 15th.
Well, and here's what I'm thinking. You could have 2 bookkeepers, right? Let's say one was hired in with no experience. One was hired in with 5 years experience. So maybe that's the difference. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't think that a person that's been here 30 years that has a job description as a clerk would have the same pay as a clerk that was hired yesterday.
I think they do.
I wouldn't think so,
But
but
they shouldn't be.
I'm not saying
I don't think
they
they
should be. I'm
should be,
saying that's
right,
the way
right.
it
But
is.
that's how it
And
is.
that's where they use the longevity to try to see, well, that's been your raises over the years. but
Yeah.
It's,
well, again, that's not something for our body to decide. I just can't decide whether or not these people should all be getting paid the same rate until I know that information. I just think there needs to be some consistency for the county employees.
I agree with you.
Whether that's through longevity and everybody gets paid the same pay rate, I don't know.
I've requested a virtual meeting like this. We did with Paige with,
Wagner, with Sheila,
what's her name?
Lori,
No,
No, it's not right.
Alexa.
Addie.
Or Addie.
Addie. Okay.
Addie Roper. I think.
Okay.
Sorry, that name slipped. But whenever that is delivered to us that we've paid for, part of that is a meeting, and they would either come here or we could do it virtually. I don't want to pay for them to travel here because they're north of Indy also, but I think if we did it similar to what we just did here, maybe we all get our questions together
Yes.
and let's ask them then. And it may be a point where she has to get more information or do more work, but it's worth the money, I think, to get it right,
Right.
because like you just said in that book, that's not right.
Yeah.
And it's not right for somebody who is a bookkeeper to retire after 20 years and then a person who comes in makes the exact same. So I don't know what the answer is and how you do it legally and all that. So that's why we pay them. And I think we probably need to schedule, once we have that in hand.
Each department head.
Well, we schedule a time that we all sit here virtually with them and we ask our questions. Then, yeah, we may have to bring each department head back over here and talk to them this
Ask them
year
about it, yeah.
and say, this is what we've learned. This is how it works.
Now, let them classify them.
Yes,
That way we're not liable.
right. It's either Wagner or Sheila does the classification or a department head or somebody, but I don't feel like I could classify someone who works in an office that I may have never even met. It's not right for me to do.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at.
There was one last thing I forgot. The county book did come out this week from the Indiana Association of Counties, I think. You get those, Jennifer?
What was it?
The county book from
No.
the Association of Counties. You have to give them, I guess, you get 3 copies free, I guess. if
The
you
fact
give it-
book?
Yeah.
Yes.
Did you get that?
Yes. There may be one down there.
Okay.
There was 3 sent to our office, yes.
Well, I was encouraged in looking at our numbers. We're pretty much right in the middle. We only have one elected official that's the highest paid they do it by population out of our group. The rest of the elected official salaries were right in the middle. Am I saying that's enough or not enough? No, but it does have some good information. If it's over there, I would also tell you guys to look through that because it gets more. I see a lot in the last 3 years of us comparing ourselves to Washington, which is actually in a higher population category than us. So it gives you here's your population group. All of these counties are in this population group. Here's where you stand. Here's where these other counties stand. So it gives you a little bit of a guide to how much other counties are making or paying. And it was a good book. So I would encourage you to look at it.
Let's get back to the meetings.
Ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
10:00, Megan, we're running a couple minutes behind, but I think you're up. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
We're cussing and discussing everything. How are you?
Good, how are you?
All right.
A lot of changes in that office, huh?
It's been a year of changes for us. And they're still coming.
Still coming at you.
Mhm.
Everybody got it?
Yeah.
All right. Floor is yours.
All right, so I'll go over a few things that are like the changes for us. And then if you guys have any questions, happy to answer any of those. In terms of personnel, our office manager asked for the requested increase there in longevity. The one big change there for us is I'm asking, and I talked to JR about this, our office manager who has been there, Shelly Pfaffenbach, she's been there for 9 years, next year's 10. She is going to retire next year. And having only one office staff, we think that it would be good if we could hire a part-time person. Say we were thinking, that's what that part-time office assistant is. And how I got that number is thinking of hiring someone like April, May-ish to work through kind of our busy like 4-H season, deadlines, fair. I think Shelly's going to retire November. So we were wanting to hire somebody to be able to kind of work alongside her too, maybe 3 days a week, depending on what the schedules look like so that she can train them. There's stuff, the way that our office works, I know it's kind of confusing, but we have Purdue employees and then we have county employees, and Shelly's our only county employee. And so she does things that nobody else really knows how to do. And with the, I don't know how much you guys have heard about like the regional updates for Purdue Extension. I can give you more information on that if you would like. But we don't really have the capacity for her to train somebody in our office. That, like, there's really nobody in our office that she can train. And so then when she's gone, we won't have anybody that does like the claims and all the stuff that she does. So we were hoping to be able to hire somebody part-time in the spring that would work with her until she retires, and then they would take on her position. So it would have to be somebody willing to work part-time for a few months and then taking on that office manager position when she does retire. So that's what that is. I want to look at,
One thing on your part-time, I've been asking, what is your part-time pay per hour? What do you want to set that at?
I was thinking 15. I think 15 is what I was, when I was doing my
I
math.
just asked them because every department's different. I'm just.
Yeah, and I'm happy to, I mean, because it's very flexible. Like I came up with that thinking like, I don't know, I figured out the weeks and then it was like working from like beginning of May through November. But it could, I think I calculated it as like 3 days a week. So if there's a general like part-time, I looked at the email that was sent that had all the different things and they were all different.
And that's a fair wage. And hopefully that person will go from part-time into.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So yeah, they would just take over right after
Thank you.
Shelly left. And so it's on the second page on my budget, but our contractual services, I want to talk about that next because then that kind of leads to other things. So I know you guys probably know contractual services is just a number that we get from Purdue and we put it in there this year with the changes at the state level that are happening all throughout. So we have moved to a regional model. And so they are trying to kind of make everything more, I don't know, fair, I guess. I don't know what the right word is, but basically contractual services has been a number that's been around for years. I mean, a lot of years. And it just has kind of slowly gone up, but nobody really knows. It was an equation I think that they did at campus, but nobody really knew where that equation actually came from. They just plugged in the numbers. And so basically how they've done it for this year, you'll notice ours is 100,000. Last year it was a little over 92. So basically how they've done it is they've put every county into population brackets. And if you have this population to this population, then this is your contractual services. And they've done that for all 92 counties. And so we ended up in the $100,000 bracket. So that's where that number comes from. So it is an increase. However, there are some counties that have $40,000 to $80,000 increases. So the less than $8,000 increase for this county, I was happy with. So with that, however, they are including things in contractual services that they have not included before. So you'll notice that, where are we at here? Travel expense, which is like the mileage, that is now included in contractual services. And so educators' mileage will be paid by Purdue. So that's why I only requested 500. They aren't paying county mileage. So we probably won't even use all of that 500, but I wanted to leave a little bit in there. Like if Shelly, or if we have another person, if they go somewhere, then they can use that mileage. But honestly, we probably won't even use that much. But so that goes down. And then also, the computer lease.
The maintenance contract.
Yeah.
Top of the second page.
Yeah. So computer leases for Purdue employees are also included in that as well. So last year, we only got 1,000 last year. We had requested 3,000. So we kind of are going to have to probably move some stuff around, but I did just put 1,000 for this year because again, they're covering Purdue employee computer leases, but we will have to cover the county employee.
We just bought new county computers, so you guys should have got a brand new one, or should be getting a brand new one from Andrew. We just bought all new computers for the whole
Okay.
county.
Okay, we usually get ours, it's something new? Because I don't think we've ever gotten county, ours usually come from Purdue.
I don't know. I would think
About
if it's a
that.
county employee.
Yeah, but we have to
Shelly's-
use Purdue,
Oh.
like,
Software, whatever.
Yeah.
Yes.
And they can't put it on.
and Purdue is like, yeah, we work with like the Purdue IT. So I don't know. I've not heard anything about that. Shelley's on medical leave right now.
And
So
even their emails are.
yeah, Shelley has a
it's not
Purdue
county
email.
email.
Yeah.
So even though.
It's Purdue.edu. I can't just graduate.
But you're contractual for Purdue, but Purdue pays that.
So the contractual services is what the county pays Purdue to
Yeah.
have extension in,
Okay,
yeah, in the county.
okay. I misunderstood you. I thought you said Purdue gave you that. So
No.
I get it now. I understand.
So that's not necessarily, that's like partial of like salaries. It also includes fringes, benefits, like all that kind of stuff. But that's so it's purely like population based for this year to try and make it fair across the 92 counties.
So Megan,
Yes.
in the event, what happens if we can't do the 100? We do what we did last year. What happens then? What do we do?
If you can't,
Like, we don't have the 100, the increase, and we have to budget what we did last year.
so I think at this point, so I don't know exactly what happens. I know that if it comes to where you're saying you're not able to pay it, I know like I take it up to the next level. So, and I should say I actually have gotten a new position in this transformation. And so I'm the regional operations leader for Region 12, which is our region, including 7 counties. And so I cover 4 counties. And so this is part of my job, is going to the budget hearings. This is my first one, which I'm glad because I'm familiar with you guys. But so basically, I think what happens if you say I can't cover it is, I take it up to campus and they kind of get involved and start negotiations, I think, with like our legal counsel is
Well,
the next.
Let me ask you this.
Yes.
Some people obviously were on YouTube and there's questions. What's the benefit of our county having a Purdue Extension office? What do you guys do for us?
So we offer programs, 4-H. Obviously, if we don't have extension in the county, then 4-H doesn't happen, which is the one that everybody knows a lot about. And so we offer the 4-H program. We also have health and human sciences, as well as ag and natural resources and community development. And so we have educators. And with this new regional model, basically we have basically what we're going to have is a 4-H person in each county. And then we have regional educators in health and human sciences, ag, and then community development. And so we have basically those educators are going to be specializing in different things, and then they'll go around throughout the region and provide programming. For example, I have 2 regional educators coming from Crawford and Washington County to the senior center next week and the next 4 weeks to provide nutrition programming at the senior center. And then we have some ag educators that will come and provide, different ag programs, the private applicator thing, all of the private applicator training, any type of programming like that. And so without extension, we don't have those. And the good thing about the regional model is we get to bring in, before we would have 3 educators or whatever in the county, and they would provide all of those programs. And so with the regional model, we're able to bring people from anywhere. I mean, not just our region, all over the state. If we need a program on something specific here in Scott County, we're able to bring educators from wherever to come and present that program here in the county. And so it's kind of that, the big thing with us with Purdue is we are kind of that link between the county and campus and the research that's done on campus. And so we bring that, evidence-based research and programming to the county. And I want to say too, if that is an increase, it is an increase from last year. I'm saying overall, the increase I think is around 10,000, but a lot of that is because with the contractual services, it sort of evens it out with taking away not quite even, but taking away the mileage and the things that we were able to take out of the budget when that was increased, because those are the things that they are including in contractual services. But our big ask, I guess, is the new thing we're asking for is that part-time office assistant, which would just be something that would be really helpful.
One-time.
That would just be a one-time thing. Yeah, it would be taken out after. That's just for next year, and it's just for
It's
to
just
be
to help
able.
transition better.
Yeah, I just think I don't see how. I mean, we would try and make it work if we couldn't do it, but it would just make things a lot less. I mean, Shelly, she's great. If you guys know her, she's really good at her job, and so I think it would be really good to have somebody that she would be able to properly train to be able to do that when she leaves. So, yeah, and then we could take that out of the budget for next year.
In my opinion, 4-H is probably one of the best things that kids have got in this county.
Absolutely.
I agree.
100%.
And I didn't, not taken away from it at all. I think
No, I'm
it's amazing.
glad to talk about it. So.
I just want, if questions are asked, I'd
Yeah.
rather be like, well, she talked about it. This is what they do, rather than me trying to stumble my way through
Yeah.
what Purdue does in the basement of the courthouse.
Yeah.
But
And a lot of times if we're not down there, it's because we're out doing stuff too. So a lot of what we do is we're, in the county, providing that programming and stuff. So,
I appreciate it, and we'll look at it. But like I told you, I think for me, the one-time ask for the part-time makes sense, and I understand the transition period. We've done that for other smaller departments that need it. So
and I'm grateful for Shelly for giving us, she's been telling us for a while. So we've known for like 2 years that this is when I'm going to retire. So
just go tell her we said she's not allowed.
she's not allowed. Okay. If you guys say no, that's the only option. She can't retire.
All right, thanks. Mary.
Thank you.
Good to see you.
Thank you.
Next one up is veterans.
Yep.
Hello,
How are you?
good. Just wanted to introduce myself real quick. I'm Joshua Baughman. I'm the new Scott County Veteran Service Office. I'm filling in for Jonathan today. He's on a much-deserved vacation. So I'll answer your questions as best I can, but I probably will not be as knowledgeable as he would be on these matters. So,
So are you the number 2 out there?
I am.
All right.
I'm junior.
Welcome.
Welcome, Junior.
Thank you.
To the very, very back. I'm talking to the very, very back.
The next to the last one, but they're stacked, so you're good.
You guys had any movement on that veterans board that they're wanting to start up with a commissioner?
Not from our perspective, no.
I think
It doesn't seem to be a very
It is
popular
on the agenda for
option
Wednesday
amongst
night.
veterans.
it's on the agenda for Wednesday night.
Why is it not
What'd
a
you
very
say?
popular option?
I think there's some miscommunication about what that board represents and what powers they do and do not have amongst the veteran population of Scott County. I don't want to get into detail here because it's not the subject at hand, but
Right.
I think there's some clarification on what that board's intention is and what they will and will not be able to do. I think would do some good amongst the veterans.
Yeah.
The thing I hear is the hours. What hours are you guys available to the public to walk in?
Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's split across 2 county VSOs. I come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, Wednesday through Friday, and I'm there until 3 p.m. every afternoon. Jonathan comes in at 9 o'clock, and he's there until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday, full time.
So you have somebody there 9 a.m. to whatever.
To 5 p.m. Monday through Friday.
Monday through Friday.
I think the confusion is that the fact that the door is locked because due to new HIPAA and privacy regulations, if I have a veteran in my office who's discussing PTSD trauma or God forbid sexual trauma, they have the right to privacy and not for 5 or 6 other people in the lobby to sit and overhear their trauma.
But you have different rooms out there. I mean, you can't separate and put somebody in a room and then have somebody out in the lobby.
Waiting room.
Only to some degree. The walls are thin enough that every conversation can be heard from one end of that building to the other.
So what's gonna happen? And I'm looking forward, but the plan is to move veteran services here in the upstairs, I believe, according to the blueprint.
That's what I've heard as well.
What's gonna happen then?
I have no idea. I have no idea how that space upstairs, I've seen it. I don't believe in its current state, it would accommodate that level of privacy for veterans, but I don't know what it intends to look like a year from now, 18 months from now, when it's ready for us to make that move.
Has the person who developed the plan talked to veteran services about what their needs are?
We haven't been consulted in any way, shape, or form about the handicap accessibility, the privacy, or security or HIPAA related.
I will say on the handicap aspect, the elevator right outside here behind you goes upstairs, opens, and it's a straight shot. There's no.
I think one of the only questions we had was whether or not that elevator was compliant with the IDVA and American Legion, like veteran service disability requirements for elevators. I don't know that that's true one way or the other. I think we just had a question about it.
I think people need to get to know you.
Sure.
I honestly don't know you, but that's good. It's good to know you now. I know a lot of our veterans have went to other counties.
Mhm.
They just are. And I hope your goal is to get them back over here to us.
Absolutely.
Because that's a lot of, not only do the veterans need it, but it's a lot of money back into our community.
And
Sure.
and excuse me, I didn't catch your name.
It's Joshua Boffman.
So how does the other counties do it? If you keep your door locked, do they keep their doors locked?
I think that probably varies from county to county depending on what the setup in their office is. If they have accommodating offices that provide enough privacy, then they probably are allowed to have situations where they can have a lobby full
So
of
it
people
just,
waiting.
when you and John's there, it's just you two that you have a reception or anybody like that, or just you two out there?
That's just the two of us. Yeah.
So is the other counties got more
to-
people?
To further expound upon that, we've, I think for years, since before Denise
Yeah.
was in charge of this, have begged, borrowed, and steeled to have more people in that office. And that staffing request has not changed. 1.5 person, it's not capable of handling.
But maybe the other counties has more staffing, is maybe a reason why they can do more people.
Correct. And the veterans populations obviously fluctuate from county to county as well. Washington is a similar county to us as far as veteran population goes. Roughly about 1,400 to 1,600 veterans per those 2 counties. We were able to bring in, I think, $11.3 million in veterans compensation fiscal year 24-25. Washington was able to bring in like 9. So even at our worst, we were still outperforming the next
Okay.
closest
But
relative
the
county.
staffing issue might be the issue where, and then the privacy is what you're saying, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Josh, just curious, have you just started or you've been there a while?
I just started. It takes about 6 months for a veteran service officer to receive their accreditation.
Yeah.
During that time, you're doing the best you can just to help out the active
Yeah.
VSO in the office.
Yeah, I
So
get
I started, I think, in May.
But you're through that point now?
I'm not, no.
Okay.
I'm actually in the
When
last
will that
couple
be?
weeks. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks. I
Okay.
just finished my FBI investigation today. And then I'll have to wait on accreditation.
Well, I'm
from-
looking forward to it. I really am.
Well, thank you.
But I'm saying that because like, I'm down to Legion Hall 3 days a week, every day talking to these guys. Right now, they're not happy.
Sure.
Just to be honest with you straight up. And a ton of them are going to Washington and Jefferson County. I hope your goal is to let them people know you can get the benefits they need, take care of them, and bring them back to Scott County where we need them.
Absolutely. We've taken steps in that direction. We've modernized our IVR phone system to include a proper routing system for both claims and for just everyday veterans questions. We've improved our website page on the Scott County website to include all the contact information for both myself and Scott and for the office in general. On that subject, we actually handle a lot of Clark County and Floyd County residents, veterans as well, because their offices are equally as busy. So yeah, our goal is to get all of our veterans back home where they belong.
Yeah.
We don't have a mass communication system that we can just reach out to every veteran at once and say, okay, time to come back home. We're fully staffed. We're ready to help you. So we're getting it out by word of mouth.
But you do need a PR thing here, and I do think it'd be a good idea to just come down to the Legion of VFW every night. Maybe you do. I haven't met you. And just visit them, let them know you're there to help.
We don't, but that's a good idea. Right now, our time is consumed Monday through Friday with just catching up on the backlog.
So it looks like there's a breath of fresh air coming. We're going
I hope so.
to improve. I do too.
That's our hope.
And I know you care. I know you do, or you wouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Absolutely.
And I just happen to be down there all the time listening. So if you're welcome to call me and I'll have you come down and have breakfast with us or something.
Will do.
Okay.
Is there a way, something simple, but maybe get like something to hang on the door that says we're currently with the person, call this
There is
number?
currently a sign.
There is that.
Since I moved in there, I started looking at better ways to communicate at the front of the office. Both ends of the building actually have that sign that explains why the door is locked. We attempt to try to communicate through that front and side door in every way possible. If anything in the office has changed, whether we're out of the office for training or whatever the case may be.
And I know there's changes coming. I don't know how they will accommodate you, and that's between you guys and the commissioners, but I think the plan I've heard is to move you guys into this building once it's renovated.
Correct.
So I hope that space will be better for you, or there's a way we can pick an office and put, sound deadening on the walls or whatever.
Sure.
My father is 100% disabled veteran, and so I totally understand what you're talking about. But at the same time, there's people beating down the door, and I think you guys are getting run pretty good through Facebook about not being available. So I'm like John, I think we got to figure out some way to help that, to make you guys
Correct.
successful.
I think the situation currently is better than situation past. I know that while John was struggling to get his accreditation, as I mentioned, it takes 6 months before we could even file a claim for a veteran. He was doing his absolute best in that office without 50% of his powers and permissions to be able to help a veteran. And before that, I think there was a short time period where we didn't have anybody manning that office. So what I don't want to do is let the mistakes of the past dictate our future going forward. We're here. We're empowered to help veterans. That's what we want to continue to do.
And I think that message is what you got to get out to people, because it's easy to hold the past against what's going on
Sure.
now and think, well, if I show up at noon on a Wednesday, he wasn't there, neither was the last person.
Right.
That's an easy path to take for a lot of folks. Not that it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's
And it's
common.
difficult for us to take a year and a half's worth of messaging and pack that into a 2-minute conversation. So
And, you guys doing what you do, and I know you're busy, but a lot of, maybe some kind of a better system on getting phone calls returned. Or are you doing that and I'm just being misinformed? I'm
No.
getting a lot of like.
I think that's a fair criticism when you only have one person in the office.
Yeah.
And at any given time, he's handling a real life veteran in front of him. He's got a phone ringing off the hook, and he's got someone beating on the door.
Yeah.
And there's only so much any one human being can do at any given time. My presence there now helps to spread that out a little bit. We still, again, need another person in that office. But we're trying our best to make it better and to streamline our process with veterans.
Josh, appreciate what you do, and I'm gonna spread the word.
Please do.
It's gonna be improved. Thank you.
They're not
Things
after
are
me,
already
I'm
here
sure.
after you, I think.
All right,
Let's get the budget.
what we're here for, sorry to.
That's all right.
Yeah, we are.
I assumed a detour was coming, so.
No, you're good. I'm trying to learn myself about it. But looks like while you were talking, I was skimming through the budget. Most of it looks pretty on par with where you're at currently. Obviously raises and things like that don't come till later in the budgeting process.
Sure.
We asked for 10% increase just to give us a ceiling because we have to advertise. We can work down from there.
One question we had about the commissioner's fund, and that was going to go, see,
Yeah, there's two or three. Let me pull them up here real quick. In the
bear with us for a
commissioner
minute.
board of commissioners have money that is allocated every year, and I'll find it here. Mostly it's for like keeping the war memorial cleaned, I think, and flags for veterans' graves and adding names to the war memorial. There's $6,000 that go into the board of commissioners. My suggestion is you guys take over handling that and we move it to you because you already have a fund for war or memorial flags that I think like the American Legion wants some, the VFW wants some at that time frame.
Usually Memorial Day.
Historically, I think this has been forgotten, and I don't know if you can see that screen, but they're on there every year, and a lot of times I think it's buried in the county commissioner's budget. Nobody knows it's there, and that request is made, and in the past they've been told we don't have the money or something. But would it make more sense from your mindset to put those items in your all's budget?
I have two thoughts. One, the memorial flags budget that is included in my budget is a carryover from year to year. I was asked to keep it in there because that's actually allocated to, as I understand it, third parties, American Legion, VFW, to handle memorial grave flags. We have actually, at least so far back as 3 administrations at this office, have never physically done anything involving that subset of budget. But I was asked to keep it in there. I don't know if that's relative to the $6,000 budget you had mentioned, but I can tell you that the second thought being that with additional responsibility to the office would require additional staff. That's the best answer I have to give you.
The only other one, it's I guess adding names to the memorial. I don't know if that's just as simple as
As needed.
calling Field Monument or whoever, or even what's his name?
Death doctor.
Yeah,
Aaron,
Aaron. Thanks. To go add a name onto the monument we have, but I don't know. I just don't want someone's name to be memorialized and we not realize we have the money to do it or where it's at to get it to them. And the same with flags. If we, the county, have historically been providing those and need to, fine. If we don't and the third party's doing it, that's fine too. Just let us know and we'll do something different with them.
I'm sorry that I don't have a better answer. Like I said, all I know is that money's been parked with us in our budget to allocate for that, but it hasn't been, strictly speaking, a responsibility of the Veteran Service Office.
Gotcha.
Okay, thank you. I just had that question.
Thank you.
Other than that, I think everything else is pretty much where it is, I think. Is there anything particular you guys need changed?
No, I'm glad to meet you, man.
There was one that went up 300, the printing and advertising was requested at 800. But we're halfway through the year, you got 500 and you haven't used any of it.
Correct. We have decided to shuffle some of the minor budget funds around to where they are more modernized and useful. Our subscriptions and software, we found out this year we're actually paying a considerable amount for the seats that we use for the VetraSpec software, which is a proprietary software we use in-house at the Veteran Service Office. It's quite expensive. And so we allocated some additional hundreds of dollars to maintaining those seats yearly. And then the print and advertising budget went up because we want to make an effort at the end of this year and next year, as we discussed earlier, to create some PR around how Veteran Service is here to help the county, what it is specifically we do and who we do it for. And we thought that a print and advertising budget might be one of the best ways to get that message out there.
So let me ask you this. What if we took the memorial flag's $800 carryover thing and just put it in printing and advertising, that with that and the 500, that will give you a pretty substantial amount to be able to do what we're asking of you, which is PR, the getting things out to people to print and advertise.
As a representative of the office, I wouldn't necessarily have a problem with that. Again, the only thing I was asked was to leave that budget in there for the parties that utilize that money for those flags. If nobody's actually dipped in it, which is the case last year, I don't think it was touched in any way, shape,
I
or
mean,
form.
as of right now, it's not been touched. I can check 25 and we can.
As of when I checked, I think 45 days ago, it still hadn't been used for
it's
anything.
Still there currently.
But what I wouldn't want is when for someone does actually need to use it, suddenly we've moved it somewhere
Well, that's
else
what I'm saying.
without
Do we wanna keep
communication.
A couple $100 in there just for a line item to keep it open, and then
Well, and then you have the other $3,000 worth
In
in
the
the
commissioner's
commissioner's.
fund. That's the one that's used anyway.
Yeah, I don't even know if it's being used either. In 2025, the flags was $1,600 and was not used at
Every
all.
year I come up and have everybody check for the 25 flag.
Yeah, I would be inclined to follow the council's advice on that.
Where do
Like
they
I
get
said,
theirs?
Who's that?
When the youth grant making council puts them out at the
I'm
cemeteries, where do
I'm
they
gonna
get
take a
those?
wild guess. I think it comes through the American Legion.
Gotcha. And you're thinking American Legion
Yeah.
funds it?
I can't be quoted on that, but I believe that's what's happening.
So
So
I'm like Collins, I think we need to leave a little bit of money in that line item in
In
case
20
somebody does come in.
in 24, it was used. It just wasn't in 25 or 26. But 24, it was $700 and they used $698.40. So I mean, I'm going to say 100% of
For
it.
some whatever reason those years, I don't know why, the Legion, somebody had told them we weren't doing that anymore. I don't know how that came about. Anyway, so there.
And maybe because they wouldn't, didn't have a lot of staff there either between them years.
Could be.
it's entirely possible. That hasn't been communicated through either John or myself, so we don't really know.
Well, we can research that a little bit.
Yep.
During the budget.
Something we can look at and try to help any way we can.
Do you have anything else for us?
I don't. It was nice to meet you all. Thank you for giving me the chance to introduce myself today. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at the office.
Will
Thank
do.
you for your
Thanks,
service.
Joshua. It's
All
nice to
right.
meet you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
On 24, the commissioner's one was used. And the,
Well, John said that they get a check. He comes and gets a check for the flag.
Yeah, I don't know what you do. You contact you, you take care of it.
Honestly, I don't think there was a
We
last
pay,
year.
they get them, we pay.
Mr. Wakeman.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
What are you doing, buddy?
We doing that several years. I
Uh,
assume it's under-
Probably looked at the budget for the Visitors Commission, and it's pretty similar to last year's budget. The only difference is there's an increase in the community outreach and the capital projects. And the reason for that is that we have a storefront rehab grant that's available to businesses who are on the main highways, some 31 and some 56, but also from the freeway in Austin through to the stoplight there. And businesses can get up to $2,500 to help them spruce up the front of their store, whether it's putting an awning on it or whether it's putting plants outside or whatever.
You want help with the awnings at 911?
I'm sorry?
You want help with the awnings at 911?
Absolutely. I mean, all you got to do is apply for the grant.
Hey, I'm in.
We asked that a year ago. That was to pay for the whole thing.
They said no.
Yeah, I know.
That's one thing we're offering, and we're extending the time frame probably to the end of November to give people the opportunity to take advantage of that. I would say it's up to $2,500
Is that the community
business.
outreach or is that the?
We have 8 applications out right now. which may or may not be received, but they're out there. We also have a billboard grant. Any tourism-related business in the county can apply for that grant, and the commission will pay up to $250 a month towards the cost of the billboard, which is kind of averaging about $450 to $500 a month. And we will also give $400 towards the setup of the board, the cover to go on it. That and events, obviously, we help with those, and that's a one-on-one. If you bring your event, we'll take a look at it and see how we can help fund it. And that's available to just about anybody. But those are some of the things that we.
Looking at doing some kind of
I'm
fish
sorry?
out at Hardy Lake or something.
There was a comment made at the last meeting that we might help with habitat for the fish.
I see they got
We,
E. coli now. That ain't gonna help bring people in. The beach is all closed.
well, it's not going to do any good at all. No.
No.
But, at least if there's decent habitat,
Yeah.
they won't need to keep restocking. They'll be doing that themselves. So that might be a contribution there, but that's still to be discussed and
To be determined.
determined.
Yeah,
Yes,
there
they
you go.
say, yes, yeah. We're also considering an amphitheater. Now, where that would be located and what it would look like and how much it costs is all speculative right now. I mean, it can be anything from $100,000 to $1 million if you want it, but you've got to be able to justify any expense as well as make it in a sensible location, which we've still to determine.
Well, I know the city has that little, it's gotten some action here recently, but over in Beechwood Park, they've got a little covered pavilion. I wonder if it would be worthy of talking to them about maybe changing it into something like that.
You have me there. I don't know. That discussion has not taken place. But it's,
I know somebody on the parks board. I'll ask them.
well, I'll have a word with the mayor and see what his thoughts on might be. We're also considering paying off the debt that the
County has.
Museum
now.
has.
Yeah, I know.
No, we don't have enough for that.
Come on.
But the museum currently has a
Yeah.
debt of about $178,000.
That would be
And
great.
that's obviously slowing down the possibility of doing other things. Because when you've got a $20,000 payment rolling around each year, it's,
Those
Tend to
women
come
work
up to
hard
that.
to get that.
I'm sorry?
Those women work hard to get that 20,000 too.
Well,
They do a lot of-
absolutely, yeah. Oh,
Most
yeah.
of that's interest, isn't it, Chris?
I'm sorry?
Most of that 20,000 is interest anyway, isn't it?
A lot of it is, yeah, it's to the USDA, and
Yeah.
while I won't be around to see it, the final payment's due in 2048.
Yeah.
So to pay $20,000 a year for another
Yeah.
22 years is kind of silly when the money could be there to pay it off.
Thank you for that.
But with those, and we're also considering a trolley bus, some kind of transportation from maybe the hotels into the downtown and a few other places. It's just a topic for discussion, but I wanted to include it in the budget, something that would help to contribute towards any costs that might be generated there. That's about it. As I say, otherwise, everything is pretty much the same as it was a year before.
So you're still renting a building for your office, right?
Yes,
Is
we
there
are.
talk of moving you into the county building when we do renovations?
I have not heard anything about that. I can see where it would make some sense because it's
Say
$3,600.
that would save you $3,600 a year.
Right, absolutely.
Not that the city would be too happy with losing $3,600, but
Well, that's quite possible, but I
Makes-
think also the visibility of the depot is, and an item in its favor
Right.
for renting it rather than necessarily. It's a nice view out of those top windows up there, but I'm not sure the customers would necessarily be enthusiastic about
Yeah.
visiting.
The only other question I had was on printing and advertising. Chris,
Yes.
it's currently at $10,000 for this year.
Right,
I see you went down to like 4,000. That'd be okay for you, you think?
that would be fine, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you got, I think the printing, I don't see, it's not a separate line. Do you want to create a line for printing, or do you want to just put it as printing? A lot of other departments just do printing and advertising as one line, and then we could put
I think that's what we have on
put the
this.
5,000 that's requested
Right.
there. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm good with that. Other than that, I think everything else is, I mean, you guys usually do a pretty decent job at spending the money you bring in, and seems to be working well.
Well, we've spent probably somewhere around $200,000 so far this year. So it's not like we're throwing it in
234.
all directions, we are trying to stay on task, get the best we can.
As of right now, you're at 234, 250 roughly is where your money's at, is what you spent. You got, or that's what you have left. I'm showing you've only spent in Lao, which is the county computer system.
Mhm.
The expenditure is only showing 124,000.
Yeah,
So I don't know if books might be off again or what, but
Well, if the invoices haven't gone through yet,
you got a bunch of invoices you guys, or claims, or you ain't
there are
turned-
some, yes, absolutely,
that aren't turned in yet.
correct,
Okay, all
yes.
right, that may be why it's off. But
Looks good
other
to
than
me.
that, I mean, it looks good.
Yep.
All your lines look appropriate, and appreciate what you're doing.
Not at all, thank you.
Thank
Thank you, sir.
Have a good day.
You too.
You may call Missy Baker and see if she wants to walk over and do hers.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Well, can I ask a question? Do you think,
Time.
do you think we need to call?
How about a little break?
Yeah,
do you want it muted?
you can.
You think we need to call, Nick
Okay.
Hey, so we're back on after a little break, but we had Nick come back from EMS, and this is what was sent to us by Baker Tilly. I think one of the big misconceptions is the distributions in the column C. That would be if we, the county, didn't pay the money we talked about when you were in here for lit. But I think your budget as written is about $400,000 less than
It's
that.
right at
Right at, it's
Three. Yeah.
$3,096,750 is what the bottom line is as written.
Yep.
The major concern or question I think a lot of the guys had was ending this year to begin. So column A, you would start next year. It's showing you would only have $177,000 in the bank.
We go through this every year.
Yeah.
There hasn't been a year that I've been here that's been right. The last year they said I was going to make 1.9 for the year, and in September I had already made 1.7. Again, one good month can skew that. One bad month can skew that. I can't sit here and promise you I'm not going to end up at that. Last month, like through the year so far, we've made 1.3 through June. So, on track, we should make 2.6, 2.7. But at the same time, June, we did 187 for receivables. This month, we did 258. I mean, that's a $70 swing, $70,000 swing in a month. I mean, that's always the caveat with us being self-sufficient in our budget is we are reliant on that income. And just like anybody that's a business owner, you don't know what your income is going to be month to month. So I can't sit here and promise you I'm going to end with $750,000 or $500,000 or 1.2 million or 200,000. I can't promise you anything that I can't read the future on. Right now, I think we've got somewhere around $500,000 in there, and we haven't received our July deposit yet. So, I mean, that's going to throw it back up to the 700,000-800,000 range. And, we've, through our functioning capital, I mean, we swing anywhere from $1 million down to 300,000 throughout the year. Like at the beginning of the year, it looks like we're going to be destroyed because we have our insurance, our truck payment, like all of those big payments come out at the beginning of the year. And that always skews our budget. And then we spend the rest of the year building it back up. I do agree that 3.5 or 3.45, whatever that says over there, that's including the lit, and I believe that's including the paramedic and all of that.
I think it was about half to that number.
Because I mean, paramedic is 79,000. The baby box and auction fund are negligible. We're talking not even 10 grand between those two. So I wouldn't. That's not going to skew anything. But I think you throw in, I think I requested 465 from lit or 425, somewhere around there, the 79,000 from paramedic, and then my budget is probably what's going to get us to that number. And I mean, I think you can attest, I haven't ever came back for additionals on payroll or any of that stuff. The stuff that I've ever asked additionals on is stuff that's out of our control as far as FICA, workman's comp, insurance, something that we don't control.
And those additionals are out of your bank account.
Correct.
And I've weighed heavily on you, and I've always trust your numbers. I put a lot of faith in you, and you never let me down. I have to say that. I just wanted you to see what we did this morning, and then obviously have an opportunity to, on the record, say, like, this is what we've seen. I don't want anyone to think our EMS is failing,
right,
or it's going down.
We have this conversation every year.
Right.
And I think it was last year or the year before I was told I was going to end with a $500,000 deficit.
Yeah.
And
I guess I'm just trying to get this conversation over with early in the budget session.
That's fair.
But,
but like I said, I can't promise anything. But like I said, and I got called back last year and I gave up more than I had planned to give up. I had told you guys last year, at some point I'm going to need some help back because I can't carry the whole thing. And I don't think it's fair for us to carry the whole thing. And I've said that since day one. I don't think that they're, you know, whether it's a belief of 100% control with 0% investment type deal, I don't think that's a cool ideology. But I also think that there should be some contributing factor on the stuff that I can't control, the insurance, the workman's comp, all of those things that I could probably save a couple $100,000 a year on if we went out, but then that's going to shift to the county in a negative asset, so it's not worth it overall. But you know, I'm worried about my budget.
Sure.
But I do think they're like we had said on Wednesday. You look south of here, and they're paying $3.9 million,
Yeah.
and we're paying $300,000. You know, I think there's got to be some investment to show something, and I don't.
And I think the vast majority of us, if not all of us, agree with you and think that it's a small percentage for the county to pay in for the service we get and for what you do to manage it. Like I said, I'm just mainly trying to get the conversation out of the way early and, give you a chance to see the numbers they were coming in, which isn't unreasonable. I think it's closer than what it has been in the past. The receipts are,
Oh, for sure. That's the first time receipts have ever been over 2 million.
yes.
And since I've been here, we've never had a receipt under.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that number doesn't start with a 1 anymore.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
And I think I would agree with you. I think the disbursements are maybe combined, that they're seeing in some form or fashion, putting that number there because, and I told her I don't think that's an accurate representation, but the entirety of the budget obviously isn't on this, and we know there's discrepancies. This document will change multiple times as we move along through budgeting process, but I just figured I would give you a chance to talk.
Yeah, I think it's more realistic that we'll end up somewhere in the 500 to 600 at the end of the year, or you know, a little more, like in that area.
And
But
that's
again,
that's what we was thinking. When I seen that number this morning, I was like, you know, that's a little.
yeah, we started the year with 800 and something, and like I said, I told you guys I was going to end the year last year and this year less than because of the 185 that I had given up last year. That I said, you know, I'm kind of doing the last 2 years. I've kind of done like a net neutral or maybe a small net positive to where like the bank account's not going down, but it's not going up. But then when I gave up that 185 last year, I said, we need to understand that my ending balance is going to take that hit of somewhere around 200,000. And we can't expect me to end in that 800 range, you know, if I'm spending another 200 that I didn't budget for. So, I mean,
I think I would agree with you, and we've talked numerous times over the years that I've been here, but that 1151 fund is vastly different than many, many other funds that we look at, where you could take a snapshot of it today and it would have 200, 300,000 in it. Then all of a sudden, you know, receipt or check comes in from the ambulance billing.
and now there's 700.
Yeah, and it goes to 700 overnight.
Yep.
So
I think this and the transfer station budget are both gonna be the
Gonna
hardest
be
ones
hard.
because the receipts coming in.
Yeah. And
what's
that's,
sustaining it, and it could be great one month and bad the next. So.
well, and the reason that I feel like mine's probably always askew is my expenditures are in real time. Like, so if you pull, you're going to see my payroll through July, you're going to see everything through July, but you're not going to see my deposit from July.
right.
You know, so I've got an extra month of $250,000 in expenses, but I don't have that $250,000 of income for this month yet.
It's hard to extract.
And I think that's the transfer station is going to be
Exactly the
the
same.
exact way, and we're just going to have to learn, which is a new learning for council, because a lot of times it's like, well, let me look at your budget, and that's not.
Yeah, but at least Nick
Really
has
how it
some
works, but-
historical, and Baker Tilly's
Yeah.
just trying to extrapolate from historical, and they'll use more conservative numbers. The transfer station is gonna be even harder, because you don't have historical numbers on it. but
Yeah. And I'm, like I
we'll learn
said,
in the next 5 years.
I can't sit here and guarantee you we won't end at 177.
Right.
It one bad month.
But you're pretty on top of your budgets, and you're realistic, and you come and tell us before.
Yeah, I mean, that's like I told you guys, I didn't put in a raise because I can't afford it. I mean, it is what it is. I'd love to sit here and tell you I could, but unless I get help from the county, I because I know this is going to be the closest year, giving up that 185 last year and all of that. this is going to be the lowest year that I end with a revolving budget because of the amount that I've given up over the last several years. And there's, we're still trying to find a happy median to where I can get some support and you guys can do what you need to do for the other 26 departments in the county. And I understand that.
I've been on this board 4 years, and I've seen you go from over $1 million down to what you are right now, 325, 400, somewhere in that range.
Mhm.
I commend you for what you've done, because you've made a believer out of me in what you are.
Appreciate it.
And for me, I mean, the numbers are all here on all these. I feel confident in saying that I think the county can fund the lit portion of your budget this year, which I think is a fair move because you've given up so much for the last 2 years that I know of, to help us remain whole and to keep us going to where we could be in a better position. And, Baker Tilly's been with this county for 27 years, and she said today that they truly believe we're in a better financial shape than we have been in the last few years. So I feel confident my opinion will be that the county pays that lit portion for EMS for this year as well.
And like I said, I appreciate that. And I've never tried, and I mean, I know everything's an operating cost, but I've never asked this county for anything operational.
I agree with
As
that.
far as, whether it be payroll or any of that stuff, it's all been the tertiary stuff that every department pays. It's just, I'm kind of
And
the oddball that
to my
doesn't.
knowledge, there's no other county in southern Indiana that has an EMS that can say what you just did, that they don't pay payroll, they don't cover the operational expenses. I don't think there is.
Which, I mean, I get workman's comp is an operation cost, but it's not, it's not the direct fiduciary payroll or fuel or any of that stuff. And, but that's the thing too, is if fuel goes up to $6 or down to $1, that's going to drastically change the expenditures in my budget. The one thing that's hit me hard this year that I'll have to move money around for at some point is my medical supplies, because those are doing nothing but going up. I can't not have medical supplies,
Right.
but I also can't control that, this drug used to be $88 for 10 of them, and now it's $362. That's out of my control, and we can't not carry that medication. So it's
You guys still doing the blood? Is it going good?
yeah, we just used it.
Dude,
One of the.
It's good and bad.
JR, was that Dr. Hicks that he pays?
Yeah,
I pay that,
Who all
and I
you pay
have
for that?
I absorbed that 2 years ago.
I think so.
But for how many departments? Because it was in somebody else's department.
I paid 2 years ago. I paid ours and 911's.
Okay.
This year, I think I might be paying both as well.
I think you paid both as well.
Yep.
Because I think it was in their budget too, wasn't it?
And I said something about it, and Will was like,
Just checking. I don't know.
Yeah,
So he
we've-
might be calling you because
Who?
Will Lovelace
Oh.
from 911. I said, I'm quite sure that's there. But
Yeah, I think I pay both. I think I pay for ours and I pay for Will's.
I think the only other one that pays a medical director is probably
Brittany.
out of the health department.
But hers is a different
Yeah,
doctor. I
it's-
think since it's the same doctor, I just ended up absorbing mine and Will's cost.
That was a question, another question that I had.
And ultimately,
Budgets.
not that you should, I'm not saying that, but the vast majority of the need for oversight by
It's their EMD that,
is EMD that
Yep.
you end up responding to
Yep.
anyway.
and that's what I told you guys. Like, I don't think he should have to pay for a medical director for runs we're getting dispatched to. I have no problem paying that.
Gotcha. I appreciate it, Nick.
Thank you, Nick.
Thank you for coming back in. And mostly, I just wanted to get the conversation out of the way early in the budget and let you see what they have. And
We get that shell shock every year.
yeah,
Um,
I think it's gotten better. I do
Mhm.
agree.
it has definitely gotten better. Can you pull up my receipts from last year? You have the ability to do that? 25. Because I know my budget last year was like pretty much the same. And I don't know what I ended up off the top of my head. But I mean, in full transparency, this is probably going to be the closest year that my numbers and Baker Tilly's are closest.
You want to see your receipts and
Yes, please.
this, or receipts or receipts and expenditures?
Whatever. I just
What do you end it last year? 25.
900 and or 872, I think.
It was in the upper eight.
I love that Nick knows the numbers, just like.
He's a good number man.
Yeah, he's a good department head.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
He's on top of it.
You go to the last page.
The very last one.
Yes, sir.
You ate.
Yeah. So my budget last year was 3 million, and I spent 2.6. And it's not me building fluff. It's a lot of that's I have to budget for worst case scenario on payroll, best case scenario on personnel, that they're all paramedic and this and that. So that's what a lot of that is. And please, I wholeheartedly understand that when Baker Tilly does this, they expect me to spend my 3.1 million. I understand those numbers. Haven't done that yet. So, that would be that I spend every penny that you guys appropriated to me. And I mean, anybody that's been here the last 4 years, like yourself, knows I've never done that. It's always that. Now I'll come here a lot towards the end. You guys have seen me twice this year. And as you know, you'll see me a lot towards the end of the year, because where we have to come to you guys to transfer now, I'll take money from ABS and put it in medical supplies, or I'll move, like I did earlier this year, paramedic to EMT or vice versa, just because you have turnover, you have people that progress in their skill set and get different licensures, and the monies can't just bounce between a lot of, if I just had one payroll line with, 1.7 million in it and everybody got paid all the same thing, you'd probably see me once a year. But where I have to do part-time and full-time and paramedic and advanced and EMT and all of those broken down, I can't hold someone back from moving up from an EMT to a paramedic, but then I have to move their salary over with it. So,
Nor should you. I mean, we want them to be the
Yeah.
best they can be.
but I mean, that's,
The reality of it.
that's the reality that, every other department, we have to go off trends, but, fuel prices change, medical prices change. I've got to borrow from one fund or one line to go to the other. So
Maybe part of, I don't know, why does it show the end of the year negative 172,000? Maybe that's why Baker Tilly's numbers are off. To allow,
Because they use an
'Cause it's-
extrapolation and.
because it's showing like receipts are, 2.4, appropriations 2.9, expenditures 2.6. That's showing him negative 200, but I know you ended at 8-ish.
I think that's over the year, because last year's the year that we paid off that loan. And I think that's because that's what I told you guys. I think we would have ended like even, but where we paid that extra 150,000 or whatever it was going to cause the shift. And that's probably the number they're using.
Probably.
And because too, you add my January or my December deposit that I didn't get in January, and now I'm going to be positive 100 and something thousand. So that's why it's really hard on mine, is that you ask for my, if you pull up what my cash ledger is right now, it's probably in the 3s or 4s. And then in a week, it's going to be back in the 6s.
Right.
And then 2 weeks later, it's going to be in the 5s. And then 4 weeks later, it's going to be in the 7. It's no different than every one of your debit cards that you go to the gas station and then your direct deposit hits. It's
Same thing with small business.
Yep. And that's why, depending, if they took a snapshot in a week when we get our deposit, it's probably going to show that I'm going to do really, really good next year, which is also not accurate. It's just,
He's looking for somebody.
What you looking for, buddy? They're out at Mid-America at the new City Hall. Yep, sir. How are you, bud?
I'm breathing.
Yeah, so your cash ledger now is showing your,
Yeah, 500,000.
yeah.
And then, like I said, I've got a $258,000 that I'll go back up to 780,000, and then it's so fluid, and it's just I'm not going to sit here and lie to you and tell you I'm going to end at $1 million, because we're not going to end with $1 million like we did 2 years ago. But I also have given up a lot, $600,000 since then.
I get it.
So
No, I just
um,
wanted to touch on it. And
Yep.
Make sure, and we talked to Brittany, which I think she's coming up here a little bit also, but she's talked like she's good to fund community paramedicine is my understanding. Was that what you guys?
and like I said, my fault for probably not talking to her more. We had talked a couple months ago, and she was concerned, or a couple of weeks ago, and she was concerned with the state stuff because, you know, it was, you're going to get 750,000, and then that number is not $750,000 anymore.
Yeah.
So, and her and I had talked yesterday morning prior to her coming here, and we were kind of in one of those standoffs of who pays the stuff, and I don't think we know yet,
Yeah.
because on
It'll be
on my payroll I show it, and on her payroll she shows it, so it's kind of like,
Who's doing it?
Yeah. and
Well-
I don't think it's, you know, we're both kind of
Whatever.
self-sufficient-ish within reason. So I think, like I told her, if she is paying them, then I'll just absorb more of the tertiary stuff. And if I'm paying them, then so be it. Because, I mean, they're her employees, but they definitely work out of our equipment, our building, and all of that. So I don't think that I should be exempt from contributing to the program. But like I said, you know, looking at those numbers, if you add another $130,000 in payroll, now I'm broke,
Right. Yep.
real broke.
I understand. I appreciate it, man. Thanks for coming in again.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
You're comfortable with the 1151 budget as is? If we can absolutely sustain the lit, we move on with everything as is.
Yeah,
I'll
'cause-
call you back.
Because you have that in front of you.
I do.
Can I walk up there?
Yeah, absolutely.
I was not prepared.
You're good.
So essentially, whatever
Yeah, so where this actually says 3.096, you'd actually subtract 120 from that if you do absorb the FICA. So I'd be down to 1.28, 1.88, or 2.88, excuse me. So the FICA's right here at 120, but I also put the FICA on here in case you said no.
Okay.
Because I wanted to at least advertise to have enough. So it's me ending at my budget would be 3.096, so you subtract 120,000 from that, so I'd be at 2.976. Sorry. So it would actually be less than,
Even any of it. Yeah. All right. Sounds good.
The only, like I said, the only thing that I would expect for me to have to come back for an additional, whether it's this year or next year, it would be medical supplies or fuel, because those are the two variables that I cannot calculate for. And even if it is, like you said before, it's all out of 1151. It's just, I'd love to come in here and ask for $200 and something thousand in medical supplies, but then you're going to go, well, you only spent 150 last year or whatever, and I don't want to get into that argument. So I'd just rather ask later.
Understandable.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
No.
No, thank you.
Have a good one, man.
Thanks, Nick.
Yes, sir.
We got anybody else coming in? We're gonna do drainage board.
We can do drink.
What are we doing? Drainage.
Gentlemen, I have to leave for the day.
Close
I
enough.
want to get back to vacation.
Hey, enjoy yourself.
I'll get the other stuff you asked for together.
Okay, sounds
Sometime
good.
whenever my time slows
I'll
down.
call you a couple times on vacation.
That's okay.
You
Go
going to
ahead.
Florida?
My husband expects it.
Have a
Good
good-
seeing you.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Thank
See
you.
ya.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
It's here somewhere. There it is.
Drainage board. Board
Should
member,
be there
looks
last
like
year.
it's probably got the 10%.
It does.
Secretary does. And then
Who's on that drainage board?
It was 11.62 last year, and now it's 13.62. That's additional in the raises.
That ever, no, on
Got last year.
drainage.
I think Everett might still be on. I'm not even certain who's on the drainage board right now.
Supplies is asking.
John Donahue, my son-in-law, and I know John Abbott
Abbott.
is as well. And Bill Comer was, I think, Everett.
Didn't John Abbott take his place
I
possibly?
think so. And then I don't know if Everett's still on or if he stepped off too.
I don't know.
Everett Hunley was on
I
it.
think, is Adam Bomar on that one?
That sounds right.
Could be.
I can barely keep up with the boards
I
on.
think Johnny White was on that, wasn't he?
I don't think
No, I don't
so.
think he's on drainage board.
And one thing, the secretary's salary was in my budget and we moved it over to the drainage board budget.
Do they get paid like once a year?
Mm-hmm. Stacy gets that.
Was there 5 of them?
I believe so.
The attorney, they had $1,000 in there. And they've used $742.50, but they're asking for $6,000.
Same thing they asked for last year.
You want to just go with $1,000 we did this time?
We didn't give them anything last year.
Yeah, we give them $1,000
For legal.
for legal.
How much did they spend?
750,
What's that giving percentage for the end of the year?
25. But
How many more meetings they have, you think, you know?
I don't know. Does that drainage board, does it slow down towards the end of the year? Or
It just depends.
just depends on what there is? Or should we change it to 1,500?
I think it need at least give them a dividend, nothing in to do the whole year. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. If they're at 25%.
yeah, if take them up to 1,500, that's gonna be up 35, you know.
You good with that, guys? Changing, give me 1 second, Brittany. The legal attorney to 1,500, because they had 1,000, they used 750.
Yeah.
That, professional services, it was at 500. They got an additional 1,085 and they've used every bit of it, asking for 4,000.
Probably do even 2 if you wanna do that, because that, that money.
Go to 2.
Yeah.
Miller says go 2,000 on that.
Good enough.
Mileage was $50. They haven't used any of it. They want $90.
Keep them back at 50.
50. 50 on that. Printing and advertising. $100 was in there. They've used $15 and they got $85. Go back to 100.
Yeah, that's more than 40%.
And then supplies was 100. They used $43. They got 56 left. Leave them at 100.
No.
And then we'll look at salaries. Good with that one?
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm okay.
Hey, so we met with, virtually this morning with Paige, and this is what we got. And the concern was their numbers, I don't know if it's right or not, but it's showing the 1159 account would end this year to begin next with only $49,000 in it. And with the expenditures, it would put you like 140,000 in the hole on that fund.
They do the same with Nick too. So
They,
we
yeah,
just
Nick's is kind of like that.
Seems like a lot. So, have they said anything about taxes and an estimate of how much we're gonna get less next year? Nobody has, you know what I mean? Nobody's able to, and I know it's,
You mean as far as, when you say us, you mean health department or you mean county?
well, I guess both, because.
So this
we get
would be-
part of it.
this will be county, this will be our, like our general fund will receipt in $10 million. The lits are, one is like 2.8, one's 1.4.
You're at like 390.
Yeah. So it's saying that your 1159 fund would receipt in 390,259.
Okay.
So our concern is that the balance you're gonna have at the end of the year, or you're gonna have more than that? That's,
Yeah, I mean, I won't spend all of it,
yeah,
but we've moved a lot of stuff out already
yeah,
to make it through this year.
Yeah.
Into other, because we have a lot of different
exactly.
grants and funds and COVID stuff still left over and all that. So, we've moved a lot of stuff out. So a lot of what this budget is people's salary and fringe,
Right.
which is
Did you-
hard.
Did you get the grant? I know it's like late last year. Did you get the grant you applied for last year? That one you was worried about you was not gonna get? I don't remember the name
But
of
the
it.
Health First
Health
Indiana,
First,
she
yeah.
got what we're gonna get, I guess. They cut that drastically.
I know that's the reason you went through your budget and tried to get all the money you could last year to keep everything afloat.
Yeah, one of the things we were looking for,
And I apologize.
grants on is the MIH program.
Okay, yeah,
And that's the one that we didn't get.
you didn't get it.
And that was because of a computer error, basically. So Kaylin turned it in and she had the receipt of turning it in, but they never received it.
Mhm.
And so it was something with their computer messed up right at the time that she sent it. And so they couldn't go back and say, yes, we got it. So,
So it's their fault that you guys got.
yep, the county got screwed, yes.
Well, no, that's fair. I mean, I knew you was doing something there last year. I just couldn't remember.
That was it, like the MIH program is a huge part. And so Kaylin, and she worked really hard on that grant, but it just didn't work at the 11th hour.
I think hers is probably much like Nick's, Jennifer, because if you pull a combined ledger on that one from January 1st through today, it's only showing we've receipted $61,000 in for the year so far, which is probably not too far off because you'll get draws throughout. And then your appropriation is, right at $500,000. The expense, that's what's throwing Baker Tilly off, I would say, wouldn't you?
They should not have read that, because what's that's gonna show? Your receipts, when you come in, and then you subtract what you've expended,
Right,
and that should be that number there.
right.
And what it is, if you're showing there that it's negative, we maybe haven't got all the receipts yet that, is this something that comes in all at once, or is this something that comes in on a month?
What?
The 1159 fund, how's that funded? Is it,
I mean, that's
I
the
can go
county
back
one,
and
so I
look.
don't.
that's the
I don't-
county one, so that would be property tax, right?
Okay, well, then you haven't got your second settlement payment.
No, I don't think we have.
No, we won't, because it won't come in
Yeah,
until
till the
the
fall.
year. Mhm.
Which is.
Yeah,
what's
we've only,
throwing
and we
me
just
off.
got the spring one like last month.
Because I
So
bet some of that is, well, that's, so, you should be pretty close to that number by the end, right? The $500,000. So I wonder if that's what's throwing off their budget estimates.
I don't know.
But still, they ought to know how much we're
They should know
receiving
how that works, yes.
in taxes.
And
Do
with the
you-
question that you asked about, do we know how our taxes are going to be affected? I don't think we do yet, because our assessments went up so much. And that was one thing, when we had the bond meeting that Friday night before Labor Day last year, and I wanted to bring Darren Bates in here, that guy could help us explain that very, very well. But I tried to schedule him a couple times. It didn't work out, but he could still come in and help us quite a bit with knowing what our taxes can do for the next couple of years.
yeah, because that would be helpful.
Yes. He's very, very good at that. The state relies on him quite a bit. And he's very reasonable.
Good. So do you know too, like what Baker Tilly wants to have in the carryover? Like,
25%.
They want 25, 15's their
15,
ideal.
yeah.
okay,
But
25 is what they're, it's
Yeah.
great, but
That's what-
15.
I guess our worry is just if we go through the budget, we do everything, I don't want to run you in like bad shape. And
Right.
yours was just one they were talking about would be like negative 25% almost if we did that. I feel like we're probably going to end this year, which would begin 27 with more than $50,000 on hand
Yeah.
for you,
I agree.
which would offset these numbers drastically. And then if we keep, your budget would increase according to the way it's written, not saying we've looked at anything, it would increase 83,000 from last year roughly. So do you feel confident with that, or do we need to try to figure out a happy medium to keep this budget more 550-ish?
I mean, I guess that's the question, like, do we do that, or do I need to move something somewhere again?
Somewhere
Because I do have some other funds, I mean, there's the local health maintenance fund, yeah, I still have $47,000 in there. And I've just kept it, you know what I mean, as a rainy day, but
Right.
maybe this is the rainy day that we use it for. And it's one of those things, the state really is put, like, we really want you to spend this money and get it off the books, but I don't want to spend it on something I don't need it. I've saved it for a rainy day. So something like that, like, do I need to take somebody's salary and put in
I just worry because
that
like,
trust account? Or
if you take the rest of this document away and we look at just B and C, the estimated, income is 390,000, but yet if we put out 500 or so, then we're obviously tapping into the bank account of it to do it.
yeah,
So I'm like you, do we need to move something somewhere else for a year or so?
Yeah.
Let's see and I'm not saying, when I say move it, I don't in any way want to say cut staff or get rid of people.
right, me
I want to
too.
do everything to keep the people we have.
Yeah.
But I also want to make sure I'm keeping you whole in budgets and not getting us all in trouble with DLGF and all of them. So
And I mean, we have, for the MIH program, I'm taking that out of 1161, the carryover from 2025.
yeah,
We still have some carryover from 2024 also.
okay.
So, I mean, that's another option I can move, either something over there. You got to be careful because you have to do that 60-40 split between the different kinds. And then even on this local health maintenance, I asked Michelle about it and she's like, well, you could pay like a nurse or sanitarian out of that, but you can't pay like a preparedness coordinator out of that. Like there's certain regulations you got to meet on all those things.
Gotcha.
But I would make sure, obviously with the state before I did that it was okay.
Well, do you want me to email you this document?
Yes, that would
so
be
you can
great.
see it,
Yeah, I can't see.
and then we can look at it, and if we need to make some changes,
Okay.
we can, or we can do whatever, or email it to you, or you want me to print you a copy? Give you
No,
a
just email it to me. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Easiest for me, so.
Yep. Other than that, I think that
Okay.
was the only thing we really had. We just seen that and was like,
I
probably
know.
ought to let you
We
see
need
it.
to know where she's paying on the home health thing, is her next.
The fringe stuff, yeah, she has that on her list
will
We'll
to
do that
check.
Monday.
She said she'll not be able to figure it out till
Okay.
Monday.
Okay, I just,
The fringe stuff aggravates me because I don't understand how, you know what I mean? And it's just
It's-
like, I can't, I guess because I have no control over it and I can't look and allow and be like, yep, Cheyenne stuff's coming out, Tim stuff's coming out. It's just all like lump sums coming out and I don't know who all is in that. So that's the part that, I guess because I have no control over it. I'm a control freak. but-
And that might be something that we can look at now and see if there's a different line we can put in there, or maybe we might have to show each person.
Yeah. to make it
Individually, I don't
easier For me
know.
to know that it's coming out
Yes.
properly. I
Yeah.
mean, because I assumed that the paramedicine was coming out of mine and Nick said, no, it's coming out of mine. So I didn't know like who all is in that lump sum.
Yeah, he
So,
was like, I thought I was. She thought, and then he said you guys were at a stand like that.
whoa.
So I don't know.
That's what he said.
well, we just need to know so we know how to budget. for it.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
I'm sending that to you right now, so I don't
Awesome,
forget.
thanks.
But that way, at least you have it, and we can all do whatever we can to try to make it.
Okay, yeah.
The best
And like
we
I said,
can.
I have several different options. So
Okay.
we can move stuff how we need to.
Yeah,
And-
you can see what they're saying, and you can go back and maybe look at everything and make sure that you're okay, because like I say, we don't want to cut staff.
Yeah. Oh,
You
yeah,
know,
me
you
either.
know what you're doing out there.
Don't
So,
want to do that. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Other than that, I think that's all we had. We just
Let me know if you have any more questions.
wanted you to see that, and that was the easiest way to get
Yeah,
it done.
for sure. Thank you, guys.
Thank
Yep,
you.
should be in
Bye,
your,
thank you.
should be in your email now.
Awesome, thanks.
We want to do lunch and then come back and tackle community corrections. I think that's the only one after lunch.
Sounds good.
Sold.
Yep.
All right.
It was on break.
Yep.
All on break.
You know, lunch then?
I guess we'll lunch it.
Everybody wanna go, y'all wanna go somewhere together or y'all wanna do that?